Yep.
how did you end up starting that page? Like what like inspired you to start Guy Codes? And
Yeah,
is that at all like related to Guy Code, like the entity, like the show that came out?
that's a good question. So it's actually independent of the entity, and I had to kind of put not related to guy codes in the bio to kind of clarify that because that show was pretty big at the time.
Mhm.
But it was at guy code, so no underscores or dashes or anything. It was at guy code, so just adding the S onto the end of guy code. So definitely had to make a distinction there
Yeah.
from the show. But guy codes was actually not my first account. I started with an Adam Sandler parody, believe it or not. And the
Mm.
inception of this was just being in high school and someone in my school telling me that it was possible to make money online. And this was a foreign concept to me at the time. I mean, obviously, I was like young and ambitious, and I feel like I always had sort of an entrepreneurial sense in that
Always.
I would always try and, yeah, you're kind of like born with it, I guess, in a way.
Yeah.
Like I would try and flip things on eBay and find other creative ways to make money growing up. But it wasn't until high school when I started a Twitter account that I really started being able to monetize the online space. So back at the time, as you said, like Twitter was pretty new in its inception and in terms of its monetization potential. And it was very engaged. So right now, if you tried to do this same thing, and this goes into the fact that the online landscape is constantly changing and you've got to be able to adapt to those changing conditions. But at the time, Twitter accounts were super engaged to where I could pay $100, $200 for a shout out from a meme account at the time and literally gain like 5, 10, 15,000 followers within a few hours. And this isn't like today where like if you spent that amount, you would maybe get like a few hundred if they were engaged, if that. These were engaged followers, active followers. So I started building these parody pages like the Adam Sandler page.
What was the handle
And
for that?
I think it was at Adam Sandler Fun, just something completely random. I don't think it's still in existence. And honestly, I don't know how it worked, but it did. And so I kind of like what you were saying. I just posted jokes on it, right? Instead of science facts, it would just be
Yeah.
jokes, some of which I created, some of which I recycled.
Right. A lot of
And that
those pages were just recycling. That's what they were.
Yeah.
absolutely
I think
recycling and
I,
scheduling,
I
like you said, yeah.
I think that part of the reason that it wouldn't work that way nowadays too is because back then I think that people's follower counts were a lot more legitimate than they are now, because now like a lot of people's follower accounts are watered down by like fake followers, or yeah, they pay for because like a lot of the big pages, bro, like you pay money for them to advertise for you and you get nothing out of it, because like that's the issue. So there was a company called, I forget what it was called. It was a sponsorship company where if you had over 10,000 followers on Instagram, on Twitter, on YouTube, and I think maybe Vine at the time, you could sign up for this company. You could sign up for this service where you'd be linked with sponsors. So basically, sponsors would make an account on this website. They'd say, this is what we're looking for, and as far as influencer goes, as far as audience size goes, and this is how much we're willing to pay. Well, after a while, they actually took Instagram off of the available things that you could sign up with, because people were botting Instagram accounts so much. Like you get an account
Okay.
from 0 to 10,000 like that, paying like $100, and then sign up for
Right,
this
right.
website and basically rip off their people, because they not only were they bought the follower accounts, they bought the likes and shit too. So it looks like you're getting
Yeah.
impressions, but they're not getting anything out of it, you know?
And that's completely a front, exactly like you said, because that's not providing any value for the brands and for the people that are offering the money in those cases. And that's exactly right. There was sort of a flip, like a complete reversal that happened at a certain point, and I don't know when exactly this was in terms of year. I want to say it was around maybe 2013 to 2015 range, where the value of just having a high follower count kind of flipped in regard to the saturation and how many people were able to just build followings illegitimately through all the different
Yeah.
outlets that came up for that. And that's one of the main reasons I eventually transitioned out of Twitter and sold my accounts. That's a little later. So going back to Guy Codes. Guy Codes wasn't my first account. I used the money that I was able to generate from those parody accounts like Adam Sandler and
So
whatnot.
you were generating money through sponsors, like paid tweets, or
Yes, and
people
sorry, I was
paying
going
you
to
for
mention that
shout
too.
outs?
People paying for shoutouts was one outlet, but honestly, the main outlet was Google AdSense. And so, yeah, so that this is what's pretty surprising, is because nowadays, like brand deals are the main source of revenue for creators on most platforms. especially Instagram and whatnot, I would say. At the time, there was incredible value in posting links on Twitter mixed in with the regular content, right? So I would have like X amount of tweets that were like geared towards guys or jokes or whatever it may be. And then I would have a link to a website that was like, for example, top 10 party schools, party colleges.
Oh, yes. So
And I'm not sure if you remember that. Yeah.
so then there would be ads on that site. You're saying?
Yes, and not just one page, right? So it wasn't just like one article where you scroll down and it's the 10 party schools. It was a gallery. So you would have number one, it'd be a gallery image with an ad above and below it. You would have to click to the next gallery, and this was very lucrative because every time someone clicked to an additional gallery page, it's serving them 2 additional ads above and below. So you get one person clicking on your link, but you can get 20 ad views and get paid 20x for that one visitor based on the fact that they're going through the gallery.
So that was a similar site to like Joseph College, right?
Absolutely, yeah, absolutely. So
was it your own site?
Cha-Cha. I eventually transitioned to my own site, yes. And in the beginning, there were sites like My Likes and Cha-Cha, which this is bringing back some memories. This was so long ago.
Yeah, dude, I remember seeing a link called Cha-Cha.
Yep, and that's exactly what you were talking about in regard to sort of the agencies that connect brands to creators, but it was on a pay-per-click basis instead of a brand deal basis, right? So you'd have AdSense would be the aggregator connecting the people who want to push the ads or run the ads, the advertisers, with the Twitter accounts at the time, like us, who would be promoting the links. And yeah, you were completely free, which people realized a little bit later down the line that you could just make your own website and not give Cha-Cha or My Likes a percentage. So it became very lucrative because the engagement at the time was to where I could post to my 250,000 followers on Guide Codes, whatever it was. I could post a link and get 20,000 clicks on that link within X amount of minutes. So the revenue and the profits,
that is
the
crazy.
margins were insane. Yeah.
Did you
go ahead?
Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
You go ahead. No, you go ahead.
Okay, fine. So would you get, how much were you making off one tweet if 20,000 people are clicking?
That would be a good amount of money at the time. Like 20,000, it could be easy $500, $1,000. It depends on the CPM you're getting, which is the amount of money for every click and ultimately page view of the ad.
So you were also getting more money in December and summer and less in January. So it was based off,
Yeah.